Hello, I'm John Richards from Paladin Cloud, and today we're talking about the Center for Internet Security's Microsoft Azure Foundations benchmark. We're looking at recommendation 315. Ensure the minimum TLS version for storage accounts is set to version 1.2 is enabled for storage account access. This recommendation covers Azure's storage accounts. The CIS description is, in some cases, Azure Storage sets the minimum TLS version to be a version 1 by default. TLS 1 is a legacy version and has known vulnerabilities. This minimum TLS version can be configured to be later protocols such as TLS 1.2. So we want to make sure we use the latest version of TLS. But why do we need to use the latest version? Well, TLS 1 has known vulnerabilities and has been replaced by later versions of the TLS protocol. Continued use of this legacy protocol affects the security of data in transit. One of the ways TLS 1.2 is an improvement is by using more robust encryption algorithms than previous versions. TLS 1.2 also significantly improves performance with more efficient encryption algorithms. Because of the security and performance gains, you should always use 1.2 over version 1 when possible. We have a policy within Paladin Cloud called Configure Latest Minimum TLS Version for Storage Account that monitors the configuration settings for this CIS recommendation. Paladin Cloud is an open source security as code policy engine that monitors your cloud environments for misconfigurations. Configure Latest Minimum TLS Version for Storage Account is a security policy that checks Azure's account storage assets to verify they require a minimum of TLS 1.2. While TLS 1 does encrypt traffic, its weaker encryption and deprecated status raise it to a medium severity security violation. Now that we understand the risk, how can we audit minimum TLS? Let's look at a few ways. First, we'll do it via the Azure portal. So we're going to navigate to the portal. We'll go to the storage account section. And to audit this recommendation, we'll look at the configuration section. Here inside configuration, we will check the minimum TLS version is set to version 1.2. Now let's check that same status via the command line. Azure offers Azure Cloud Shell for running CLI commands right from the browser. Here we will run a command to list the properties of the minimum TLS version for our storage accounts. Now for this recommendation, we want to see a value of TLS1_2, TLS1_0, or TLS1_1 fails the recommendation. So let's look at how we can fix those that fail. To do so, we can return to our storage accounts configuration settings and change the minimum TLS version to 1.2. Then we save our changes. Now, if you use infrastructure as code, you may have built your storage account using Terraform, Bicep, or ARM. In that case, you will want to update this value in the code so the problem isn't replicated on future deployments. One way to avoid misconfigurations is to use a platform like Paladin Cloud to automate the detection. Paladin Cloud runs policies across assets. Those assets can be scoped by custom asset groups based on things like subscription or cloud providers. I'll scope this session to just assets on Azure. The Paladin Cloud dashboard shows us metrics on policy violation severity, category, and quantity. Earlier, we learned that Configure Latest Minimum TLS Version for Storage Account is classified as a medium severity. So we would find any violations here. I'll filter this to just the TLS policy violations. This is a list of assets violating our TLS policy. By clicking on a specific violation, we see more details. Here is a link to the policy that will include documentation on how to remediate it. We can go to the individual asset and see what other policies are checked. Asset-specific details are listed below so we can find and fix any issues. If this interests you, please check out the free open source repository for Paladin Cloud on GitHub and give us a star while you're there. Also, let us know if you have any questions or feedback. Thanks so much for watching.